I am Eric Chivian, former professor at Harvard Medical School and the founder and the former director for almost 17 years of the Center for Health and the Global Environment at Harvard Medical School. I have a particular interest in how science is presented, both by universities, by museums, by public television, because all of them have what's in essence a sacred mission to educate the public about the most important scientific issues of our time. And clearly, the most important scientific issue of our time is that we are altering the physical and chemical and biological systems of our planet. And the impacts of those alterations have been described as the greatest global health threat of the 21st century by leading physicians and medical organizations around the world. When I ran the center at Harvard Med School, we did a congressional briefing called "What is a Theory and What is a Fact in Science?" So the deniers say, well, evolution is just a theory. It's not a fact, it's just a theory. It's just one theory, it's your theory. I have another theory. I believe in a completely different set of things to explain the origin of human beings. But when you look at it, atomic theory is a theory. There are very few laws or, quote, facts in science. Things can be proven, but there's still some question about whether the scientific explanation of a particular phenomenon is 100% certain. Scientists are skeptics. Science is about the best explanation for a series of observations in our world that we can come up with until there's evidence for a better explanation. When 97% of climate scientists around the world agree that climate change constitutes a great threat to our planet and to the human enterprise, then it's up to museums. It's important for museums to assume the role of helping to educate the public. A museum has the responsibility to present the science, and that science can also include warnings about an emergency. If there were an epidemic, it would be the responsibility of a television program or a news program or the newspaper, the media, to inform people of an emergency, to warn people of an emergency, to make sure they act on that emergency. Anything that has the potential to destroy the credibility and the trust that the public has in the science that's presented damages not only the museum and its integrity and its credibility, but damages the trust that people have in the information they present. I can understand the temptation to accept millions and millions of dollars from David Koch, for example. But it's well known that he and his brother have spent millions and millions, tens of millions of dollars on disinformation about climate change. So for a museum to accept funding from them really undermines their educational purpose and causes them great harm and confuses the public, which is the greatest harm of all, at a time when people need to understand the dangers that we face and be motivated to do everything in their power to change them. The museum of the future, as the museum of the present, has a responsibility to present the best science and to describe efforts to undermine that science, especially by vested interests.